With the beginning of season number 7 just on the horizon, here we travel to Pensacola, Florida for the first exhibition race of season 7 of the Fuel Grand National Series here at the Pensacola International Speedway. The Thrustmaster 160K here at Pensacola. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, lads of all ages, and live here for the preseason thunder of season number 7 of the Fuel Grand National Series. My name is Trey Wright here on the North American Sim Racing Network. We're about to get things started here at the Pensacola International Speedway Roval here in beautiful Pensacola, Florida. It is not nearly as sunny as it is here. Of course, Pensacola going through a little bit of a hurricane right now, but irregardlessly, we have got 12 cars on track ready to do battle for 24 laps around this over 4-mile course here in the heart of the Florida Panhandle. Tyler Stallhood sitting on the pole position in the number 7 machine. So we'll get a look at today's starting lineup. Scrolling across, actually not on the starting lineup scrolling across, but getting a look at some of the new faces and new places for the Fuel Grand National Series. There's a look at Ike Durbin's number 86 machine for Millennium Autosport. He rides around the inside portion of the track. Have about 3 minutes to go here in happy hour. It's Nicky Conti's number 85 machine rumbles onto the pit lane. Emi Schizzato in the 9, just going underneath of one of the corners, one of the many straightaways here at a very, very interesting oval. Schizzato in that number 9 PNC machine. Of course, Kenny Campos in the 79 making his debut here on the North American Sim Racing Network in terms of the Fuel Grand National Series. Same thing for Lucas Kennedy. We're actually dropping quite a few frames here for all you guys at home, so we're going to go ahead and lower the bit rate here for y'all. And then we're going to hopefully have some smooth operation. Forgot to change the bit rate down from 20,000 kilobytes per second to 10. So now we should be good in terms of FPS, as there's a look at the number 20 machine of Lucas Kennedy. Rich Roy, first time we've seen Roy's name in quite some time in the 29 car. 2/3 of the Millennium Autosport camp in this race, as Vincenzo Focusato is not here tonight. Neither is Apollo Hahn, the defending champion, but they will be back later on at Darlington. Bill Turner in the number 18 machine don't have his car loaded into the game, so he'll be the only blank car on track here this evening. Rafaela Sorensen in the 42 machine, 2 PNC bank cars on track here this evening. Couple other drivers that we have yet to get a look at are Tyler Stallhood, RJ Bishop. 2 drivers that make up the front row as Emi Schizzato will go to the point in the 9. Brendan Whitford we owe you a look at as well, along with Trip Moore making his debut here on the North American Sim Racing Network for the 12 drivers that will start this evening's race. 24-lap exhibition race here at Pensacola, and taking a look at the scale of the track. A little bit of a wide shot there with the 86 of Ike Durbin, as the 9 of Schizzato, who ran a 155 in qualifying compared to the 142 flat that Stallhood ran. But yeah, this utilizes the infield portion of the course. Some bridges in the infield here and there, as we will get a look at the track itself. Shows how big Pensacola is, and it's got a little bit of the reverse shape of, what's the track? Road America, where it looks like it's got a little bit of a bite. But nonetheless, set to be another fantastic season Fuel Grand National competition. We'll go over all 11 races that are scheduled to be ran this season here in just a couple of moments. But first things first, as Ike Durbin will continue to show the way around the infield here, this 18-turn facility. We're going to go downstairs here in just a couple of moments to go down trackside, get the most famous words in motorsports to get this exhibition race going here at Pensacola, to warm up these guys' tires and to warm up their steering wheels for season number 7 of Fuel Grand National competition here on the North American Sim Racing Network. We'll send it down trackside for the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the engines roar to life on the back straightaway as 12 cars come to life for a 24-lap exhibition contest, as we'll get a look at the race analysis for the Thrustmaster 160K, 24 laps for 160 kilometers. Point of no return. 3 laps to go. New rule here for the road courses for the Fuel Grand National Series. It's a 4.2-mile roval, 18 turns, 27 degrees of banking in the turns. And that little hairpin that we saw with Ike Durbin, 15 degrees. These drivers will potentially have to make 2 pit stops, might have to bring their cars in a little bit earlier. Rather, right at the halfway point, they're going to have to stretch their fuel for this contest. Another look at the track itself. A lot of straightaways, passing zones, and a lot of kooky areas here at Pensacola for these drivers to navigate around, as the pace car will head down the pit lane here. As Tyler Stallhood, sat on the pole, will lead the field through the Reese's restart zone. Green flag is out and away for the Thrustmaster 160K exhibition race. RJ Bishop will immediately dive it into the corner to take the race lead away from Stallhood. They're fighting for third on back. Lucas Kennedy trying to take that spot away from Nicky Conti as they go underneath the bridge. Onto this opening section, everybody able to keep it straight as they're at the F1 starting gate right on the back straightaway, as we got a quick flyby of the field. Everybody zooming back and forth through the bus stop for the opening time, and Rafaela Sorensen blew past the bus stop. Looks like Sorensen was the only one with an issue going through the inner loop. It's now Stallhood right on the back end of RJ Bishop as they're up the back straightaway. Bishop on the back end in the 28 machine at the point. Stallhood still behind as they go through this 15-degree banked hairpin turn. Stallhood looking for an edge underneath of the 28 machine. Stallhood trying to get there. He's kind of trying to get to the door side of that Mobil 1 Ford Fusion. Ford Mustang, I should say. So field will transition back onto the oval. These guys are going to run flat out around these 27-degree banked corners. Bill Turner looks like he fell behind in the number 18 machine. It's a 31 of Brendan Whitford sporting a test scheme for this exhibition race. Here we are, side by side, dead heat at the line between Bishop and the 7, and they're still door to door, a little bit wide through the corner for the 7, and off racetrack and into the outside wall goes Stallhood. He pancakes the car into the corner. And that's going to give second to Lucas Kennedy there in the 20. And that was not what you wanted to see there from the 7 of Tyler Stallhood, and we'll get a quick replay to see what happened there. apologize for our race meter, our lap count being broken, so we'll try to get that fixed in a second, but looking there at the 7, yeah, Stallhood just overcooking turn 1, goes into the grass, and it's like putting ice skates on those Hoosiers and head on into the wall. Fortunately, moderate damage is on, and he is able to keep that Castrol machine straight and going. He's back up to second, right behind the 28 machine. We'll get that lap count fixed here in just a moment. It's one of the little frustrating things that we've got here, where the lap count doesn't always work, and we sometimes have to reset it. But we'll get the lap count fixed for you. Of course, working out these kinks here on the exhibition race. And the caution flag has come out for the opening time today. Our first caution of the afternoon. So a multi-car incident puts us under the caution flag. So we've got our lap count fixed, and that is going to take away the little bit of a lead that RJ Bishop had built up over the rest of the field, and I believe it involved Rich Roy and potentially Rafaela Sorensen. So action all the way around what is affectionately known as the action track here in the Fuel Grand National Series. It's a fun little road course that races a little bit like Papyrus and Watkins Glen with how fast these corners are. So go ahead and grab the replay of what happened. And this was in the bus stop in turn 7. We had a couple of cars having some issues going through here. Gonna focus with the 29 of Rich Roy. See Nicky Conti spun back there in the 85. They were running in 5th, and Kenny Campos two-wheeling it. Little Tony Hawk Pro Skater 9 action. He's going to get into the 29, and Sorensen spins around as well. Ike Durbin shooting the duck right between those two spun around cars. Was able to avoid both his teammate and the stricken number 42 machine. How about that? Some synchronized spinning, and we got to go on board with Ike to watch this again, because that was some impressive driving out of the driver of that number 86 machine. That number, that number 86. So we go on board. Both the 42 and the 29 going around, and Durbin saying, "Thank you very much, I'll split the gap." Durbin will go on his merry way in that number 86 car. Looks like everybody's going to come down the pit lane this time by. Again, these guys are going to have to make 1, potentially 2 stops, and if they pit here, they are going to turn this into a 2-stop race, as Bishop will lead the entire field down the pit lane here. Coming around to 21 laps to go, and RJ Bishop sporting a brand new number, the Ryan Sieg Racing number 28 machine on that Ford Mustang. Leads the field into the service area. Tyler Stallhood is likely going to have to get a lot of repairs on that 7 car. Kenny Campos will do a restart of shame in that number 79 machine. Bishop getting some service there in the 28 car. He was warping in and out there for a brief moment, was a little bit nervous, but he'll get off of the pit lane first. Stall hood, like we said, has got some extensive repairs in that Castrol Supra. And he's going to fall all the way to the back there in that number 7 machine. Field will be getting the 1-to-go signal this time by as Campos sped on pit road. He will go to the end of the longest line. Rafaela Sorensen with an extended pit stop in the 42. And they will come off of the pit lane in the 12th position. There in that number 42 machine, Bishop will lead the field through the bus stop. Here on lap number 4 of the Thrustmaster 160K. But while we've got a moment, we'll take a look at the upcoming schedule for this season of fuel competition for season number 7. Getting things kicked off at the Darlington Raceway, the Lady in Black, next Wednesday evening on August 27th. A special thing about that race, it's got a sponsor. In fact, a lot of these races have sponsors. We can pull those up as well. I do know that Blake Warren is sponsoring the race at Darlington. The PPG Paints Southern Classic, sponsored by Blake Warren. That'll be taking place at Darlington night. It's an unofficial throwback theme, so we might see some drivers with some throwback cars. Then, of course, Watkins Glen. Sponsorship is still open for the race at WGI. Nicky Conti is sponsoring the Bristol Night Race, which is a shop local theme, the Kettle Lakes 100 at Michigan. Trek Talker sponsoring the race at Kansas on September 24th. And we got the Grand Prix of Mid-Ohio at Mid-Ohio. Then we go to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Then it will be the Ash Industries Silver Screen Showdown from Talladega. A lot of movie cars will be the theme for that race, I should say, are movie cars. So that'll be one heck of a race to watch. Brought to you by Ash Industries. Then we go to Pikes Peak International. Then a Halloween race, which has not been decided yet. That's still TBA. But then we'll finish out the season at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We will crown a Season 7 and 2025 champion all the way on November 5th here on the North American Sim Racing Network. All those races brought to you here on the NASRN. So it's RJ Bishop and Emi Schizzato on row number 1. Back through the Reese's Restart Zone they go. Green flag out and away here on lap number 5, and everybody double file right into turn number 1. Bishop on that inside lane, and Conti getting turned by the 45 of Moore. Does that warrant a yellow flag? It will not, and actually will be. So the yellow flag coming out for the second time tonight. And that was right on a restart and nowhere for more to go. Got right into the back end of Nicky Conti. And he almost shipped it right into the corner there, right into the tire barrier. Driving a Mark Martin / Scott Riggs throwback 45 car. He will go to the tail end of the longest line. We'll also get a restart of shame as well. We saw that happen live as Bill Turner bringing up the rear in that 18 machine. Haven't seen a whole lot of racing. Ooh, Ike Turpin. What a good save out of Ike. Had the entire back end absolutely sideways going through the hairpin. Mike will get through the corner with Rafaela Sorensen right behind him. And again, these guys are racing to the back end of the caution. These guys are racing to the caution flag here on lap number 5. It looks like we will get a little bit longer of a race than we thought. Already 2 cautions for 3 laps ran under the yellow flag, as RJ Bishop will win the race back. Schizzato will go along with him. And Conti lost all of that momentum there in that 85, as they will bring up the rear. Brendan Whitford got a black flag on the restart. That'll be cleared by Stallhood. But speaking of the restart, let's go ahead and see what happened on that restart, because we saw it happen live at the right-hand side of your screen. And it looks like Stallhood didn't think about making it 3 wide. I think more just got into the quarter panel of that Hot Topic Ford. And just a simple spin, but it did bring out a multi-yellow, or a yellow for a multi-car incident, as Conti is able to fire that Hot Topic Mustang back up and get back going. And we'll get another couple looks at it here. First from the rear end of Conti's Mustang, and see what their point of view was with that 45 car. Just a little love tap there. Nothing intentional, just a racing deal. Conti will spin that 45 machine back around and get it back ramrod straight. And of course, we'll take a look from the other end of that incident. Looking from the 45 of Trip Moore. Got in the 85 just a little bit. Racing deal, nothing intentional like we said. And Moore will go back with the rest of the field, as he will restart this race in 12th for causing the second accident of the afternoon here at Pensacola. Let's get a good look at that 45 car. Like we mentioned, a beautiful quasi-throwback scheme to the Mark Martin car. If we can get a good look at that car from the tail end of Brendan Whitford. You can see all the V's on that Valvoline car. That's one of the most interesting things of those Mark Martin cars that I didn't learn until the Slap Shoes video of the Mark Martin paint schemes from a couple of months ago. Was that all of those, that design on those Valvoline cars from Mark Martin, all of them are just a bunch of tiny little V's. So it's the Mark Martin lore, of course, like we know, our Lord and Savior Slap Shoes, for multiple reasons here on NASCAR YouTube. So everybody's going to come back down the pit lane here once again. No, Bishop and Schizzato were going to stay out along with Durbin. So 9 cars will come down the pit lane, as Lucas Kennedy will lead the field down that roofclaim.com Supra, running a Timmy Hill throwback in that 20 machine. Stallhood will be second on the pit lane, Schizzato third, as she'll go into her pit stall. A little bit hot there in the Dodge Charger. They're able to get her back into their stall and going. Same thing with Nicky Conti in that 85 machine. Getting a good look at Lucas Kennedy. He's had a couple of good runs in the Fuel Sportsman Series, which that will return this Friday night. Schizzato will come out first there in that number 9 car. Rather, that was Rafaela Sorensen. Got the 2 PNC cars mixed up. Buddy Campos will come out third on the pit lane, as Kennedy will lose a spot. But once again, the Fuel Sportsman Series will return this Friday night, live from the Sin City of Las Vegas for the Max Buchanan Foundation 100K. Of course, that'll be one of 2 races that MBF will sponsor. They're also a proud sponsor of the Rise Motorsports number 31 ARCA program. Of course, a lot of memoriam sponsorships here over these next couple of weeks here on the North American Sim Racing Network. We've got 2 races brought to you by Max Buchanan Foundation. The Las Vegas race this Friday night, and the Pocono race here in a couple of weeks for the Sportsman Series. We'll also have a scheduling update on things Friday during practice as well, as the Sportsman Series will return to the ovals. And hey, we'll return to the ovals as well. This is the second straight road course race that we've had here in the Fuel Racing League. We're finally ready to go back to the left turns here in Fuel. It'll be our first oval race in 3 weeks' time, if I'm not mistaken, here on the NASRN. Or just on the online side of things, of course, the Mission Barbecue Cup Series race at Armory Digital a couple of days ago. That was a travesty, to say the least. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into those races, both of those races on Sunday evening. That was a blast. Unfortunately, Armory Digital kind of sucks as a track, so I am happy to announce the first scheduling update for the Mission Barbecue Cup Series for 2026. Armory Digital will be replaced with none other than the Pensacola International Speedway for the NEX 500. Glad to be able to announce that here. Among quite a few scheduling changes, I think we've got 2 new tracks next season for MBCS competition. A couple of potential night tracks in the running as well, and potentially an expansion of a schedule to 37 races. That has been in talks as well. Of course, a big shuffle up of the schedule like we saw with the NASCAR schedule here as well. More on that in just a couple of weeks' time. But nonetheless, that's offline, and this is offline. Or this is online, I should say. It's Bishop and Schizzato. Row number 1, Stallhood and Durbin. Row number 2, green flag back out in the air here on lap number 8. Field will squeeze down into turn number 1, and we'll see who will get the jump on the inside of anybody. Off track goes Conti once again in the 85, and a restart of shame for the 45 of Moore as well. And a good jump there for Bishop, who has led almost every single lap of this race. Took the race lead into corner number 1 from the pole sitter of Stallhood. Stallhood overcooked the corner as now Lucas Kennedy out of shape going through the bus stop. And he will park that car. We'll do a stop and go as he will lose a couple of spots in the 20. And meanwhile, 3-car breakaway for the race lead. A little bit wide out of the corner there for Stallhood. And that Castrol number 7. Naomi Schizzato trying to get on her horse there in that 9 machine as the field goes through the S's towards the hairpin. Bishop with a really good run. Stallhood loose through the corner in that 7 car. Through the hairpin goes the top 3 drivers. Rafaela Sorensen joining the fray as well in the 42. Stallhood trying to get around Schizzato in the 9. Kennedy off pace in the back in the number 20 car. Way wide to the corner goes Schizzato in the 9. Here comes Stallhood on the inside. And going through oval number 3, Stallhood back in position number 2, and he's trying to track down Bishop in that 28 car. Good move there from that 7 machine as the field will rumble through the corner. Bishop coming around to lead yet another lap under green. Our first lap under green in quite some time here at Pensacola. Not even a quarter of the way through this. Actually, we just got to a quarter of the way through this race. A little bit of a slide job there for Bishop through 1. Now here comes Schizzato trying to fight back with the 7. These 3 drivers pulling away. Sorensen waiting in the wings along with Durbin, who rounds out the top 5. And how about this for Buddy Campos in that 79 car? Trying to catch up with these guys back in here. Oh, off course goes Stallhood, and he will give that spot away to the 9 of Schizzato. Bill Turner down the pit lane in the 18 machine. Something amiss on that Camaro. Or maybe this is strategy for Turner. These guys are going to have to make another set of pit stops. And I would gauge that these guys would potentially try to come down in trouble for Kennedy. He is blown up. I believe it may be a transmission issue for that Roofclaim.com, Toyota Camry, and our first DNF, our second DNF actually, as Bill Turner has also pulled his car behind the wall. So 2 DNFs here on lap number 9. And we'll thin the field out just a little bit more here. And again, nothing to really fret about for these guys. This is just an exhibition race. These guys aren't running for points, but Kennedy was having a good race, but unfortunately, that Ilmore untimely expired. And he will join Bill Turner in the garage area, and they'll re-rack him and send him up as Tyler Stallhood came down the pit lane in the 7. He has come down. I'm not sure. Did everybody just come down the pit lane there? No, Stallhood lost a lot of time in that 7 machine. I believe he was playing a little bit of a strategy call there. Kennedy will rumble that 20 car down to the garage area. Bishop going in and out there on the warpage, and that will give Schizzato position number 2. Both PNC cars will be up inside this top 5 with Rafaela Sorensen back in there. This podium, I should say. So both of these drivers will return to the sportsman side of things this Friday night at Las Vegas. Ike Durbin waiting in the wings as well in the 86. Same thing with Nikki Conti. She rounds out the top 5. But RJ Bishop driving that Camaro, or rather driving that dark horse like he stole it. He is bubbling and bobbling a little bit here and there in terms of internet, but he should be okay. And it was actually a camshaft failure for Lucas Kennedy that put him in the garage area. Stallhood right now being shown in the 7th position. He is a lap down, so I'm not sure if he had a penalty on that restart. Not sure what the case was there. Was looking on the scoring monitor to see what was what, but nonetheless, that was really RJ Bishop's biggest piece of competition taken out here. Stallhood will get the lucky dog, potentially, if we do get a caution, but everybody's starting to string out and run their own race, but that was a very unfortunate situation for Stallhood. I believe it was a 1-lap penalty. See that 7 machine rolling through the bus stop. Same thing with Trip Moore. He's going to go off track. Same thing with Campos. Campos nearly turned that 79 car over. Tell you, that grip patch that Tyler put there earlier on certainly been interesting to say the least, that's for sure. It's a good battle here between Campos and Conti in that 85 car. We'll have to see Buddy back in the car Friday evening at Las Vegas as well. We'll have to see if any of these guys will return to sportsman competition. We'd love to see RJ Bishop come back on Friday night. Same thing with Trip Moore. Those guys, 2 good-looking paint ski. Same thing with that Hot Topic number 85 that Conti's been bringing the heat with. Would love to see that on a Winston Cup 98 car. Campos is going to get a good run on the back end of that 85 machine, going up through the corner. There he goes, side by side with the 85. We're going to take you for an on-board lap here, on board with Kenny Campos in that number 79 machine. Rolling through the corner. Let's see how aggressive these drivers are, and we'll get a little bit of a tour of the racetrack here with that 79 car. Onto this backstretch back in here and going in through the inner loop. Campos trying to get to the back end of Conti there in that 85. Moore way off course in the 45. Conti might catch him. Moore's been a little bit all over the place in that 45 machine as Campos goes up the hill and heading towards the hairpin, banked at 15 degrees. A little bit of a mini oval here. It's an oval within an oval, I should say. You feel the back end of that 79 car getting light through the corner and transitioning back onto the oval. Now we'll go on board with Conti in that 85 car. Back onto the oval, and hello, Pensacola Oval. It's a really, really good drafting portion of this track where the runs that you can get going into corner number 1 can be huge, but they can also be a little too much for some of these drivers. But watch this 85 car rumbling through the corner. And it looks like the 45 is going to come down the pit lane. It looks like RJ Bishop has also come down the pit lane as well, as Bishop has relinquished first to Emi Schizzato. Trying to see where he is on the pylon, and there he is. He has made another pit stop in the 20. Actually, I'm not sure if he went off track potentially, because it's showing that he's only made one pit stop so far still. I'm going to go ahead and see what happened there to RJ, because he was running pretty well. And actually, he did, in fact, come down the pit lane there right on lap number 12. So, no need for a replay there. So, Bishop has made his final pit stop. And again, these guys can do about 11 to 12 laps in terms of fuel. So Bishop losing quite a bit of time on these guys. We'll have to see how it'll all cycle out. But Schizzato right now leading this race in that PNC Bank number 9. In fact, both PNC cars right at the front of this field. But we'll see if Schizzato will elect to come down the pit lane this time. They will not. Sorensen and Durbin now in a battle for second right now, and Durbin thought about coming down the pit lane. I think Sorensen was trying to sell Durbin to come down the pit lane, was trying for the bait and switch. But Durbin did not take the bait. He nearly did. Sorensen backed out at the last second. Durbin followed suit. And Sorensen will get another lap under the green flag here right now in P2, when Durbin's going to have a real good run going through the corner. Durbin right on the back end, going through the bus stop there, right on the back end of this 42. Really good bus stop there from Sorensen. Oh, and she's going to get wide through the corner. She's going to spin that Dodge around, and Durbin will go to second. And Conti having a checkup to avoid hitting the back end of the 42. Looking to take third away, and Sorensen sailing around in that PNC Bank Dodge. We were giving flowers to Sorensen, was running in second. And they'll go around through the corner. And we get another look at it here. Just wheel hopped it going through turn number 7. And nothing that they could really do there. That's just a tough situation if you're that 42 car. Didn't lose a whole lot of ground, however, as Conti will take third away from Sorensen, but Schizzato will remain out there on the racetrack. But Durbin will make his final pit stop of the afternoon. Conti will stay out. Same thing with Sorensen. I'm liking this strategy that these guys are putting together. Just being able to stay out, trying to grab that track position, but also making sure that you not only have enough fuel to make it to the end, but also being able to have better tire wear than somebody like RJ Bishop, who right now running 25 seconds, rather scratch that 29 seconds back of the race leader of Schizzato at the moment. And he is going to come back down the pit lane in the 28. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit early there for RJ to come down the pit lane. He is going to make yet another pit stop just to gas and go. But that was a peculiar strategy call from Bishop. The team did the math, could not make it to the end, and he will come in out behind the 86 of Ike Durbin, so a lot more time being lost on that gas and go for Bishop. Meanwhile, Stallhood, still, he is now 3 laps down in the 7. There might be a mechanical issue on that Castrol Supra because, again, he hit that wall. He knocked that wall down on that second lap of the race, and he has just not had the same car that he has had since then. He's going to get a little bit light through the corner. Trying to track down the back end of that 29 machine of Rich Roy. Sporting a Ryan Newman throwback there as somebody that loved the all-tail colors of Ryan Newman back in the day, especially the NASCAR IMAX experience. One of my first ever iterations or exposures to the sport of NASCAR. Seeing Ryan Newman flip upside down twice in that video brings back a lot of good memories there, and I'm glad that Rich Roy able to fly the old all-tail colors. And speaking of colors, like we mentioned during the warm-up lap, Brendan Whitford's sporting a test scheme for the Red Fox Racing number 131 entry. He'll come down the pit lane to make his final pit stop, and here we go. Schizzato off of the pit lane in the 9, but Bishop, once again, he is running quite a ways away, and Schizzato is going to get out front in first, and I believe Trip Moore might go up to second. Trying to run down that 9 machine is going to be the 86 of Ike Durbin, but I think might be too little too late. Schizzato with a good 4-tire pit stop, filled that gas tank full of Sunoco race fuel, and she is out and away. Moore in the back end of the 45. He's trying to navigate his way around this course, and Durbin right now being shown in third, trying to catch up to that 45 machine who's been a little bit off the rumble strips here and there, but Schizzato just trying to get out of Dodge. Same thing with Sorensen. 10 cars remaining on the racetrack. 9 cars are on the lead lap as they're past the midway point through the Thrustmaster 160K. Sorensen, who did stay out a lap in the 42, I believe, who got a lap led, will hit the pit lane. Sorensen will come down in that with number 42 Dodge Charger. Schizzato hard charging in the 9. Sorensen, remember, she spun around, lost a lot of time to Schizzato, and Schizzato will blow past them. And she'll retake the race lead here, going into the back end of this race with 8 laps to go here at Pensacola. Fastest lap of the race, no surprise to see RJ Bishop at the top end of the board with a 1 minute and 42.750 second time. With 8 laps to go, Schizzato looking to be in pretty good shape as of right now. Rich Roy right now being shown in second. I'm not sure where that number 45 Trip Moore is being scored right now. I believe Moore is being scored in second. But Durbin and Bishop are a-coming in that duo. Do they have enough time to catch up to Schizzato with coming around to 7 laps to go? They might. I'm not sure if RJ is going to have the tire wear to be able to do so, but he's going to get around Durbin, who goes into the outside wall. Bishop will get into the wall himself off of the horseshoe. But he will now go to third, and how he's going to set his sights on that 45 car. And I believe RJ might have a shot to win this race because, again, we got 7 laps to go. Skizzato, she is a formidable road course racer, but she's no ringer by any stretch of the imagination. RJ, on the other hand, this is his road course car. When you've got a road course specific car, you are a road course ringer. We see it a lot with guys like Zach Rogers and Shane Van Gisbergen. But Skizzato might be in a little bit of trouble. We'll see what the timing and scoring is going to be this when they come around this time by. But right now, Moore 5 seconds back of that 9 machine. And Bishop is closing in as well. He is closed in by 10 seconds on the back end of the 9, so he is a hummer. But is he going to have the tire wear to be able to catch up to that PNC Bank Supra? That's going to be the million-dollar question as Skizzato nearly overshoots the corner. And here comes Bishop. A little wonky over the curbs as everybody is going to get back strung together through the bus stop. Moore running in second, trying to run the race of his life right now. A watch from the back end of Trip Moore. How much time does he have on RJ Bishop? And he's going to gain a little bit of time on the 28 going in through the carousel. Bishop, however, going through the 15-degree corner, trying to catch up to the back end of that 45 car. Gets in the outside wall by just a little bit. RJ is going to have a good draft onto this back straightaway. And you can see there is Skizzato. Top left-hand side of your screen, that little dot right at the top end of the racetrack. Does RJ have enough time to catch up to the 9 machine coming around to 6 to go? I believe that he does. RJ through oval turn 4, Roval turn 18. We'll see 6 digits being displayed from the flag stand. He tries to set up an attack approach on the 45 of Moore. From the back end of Moore, here comes RJ through this technical opening section of the course. I don't think that Bishop is going to have the tire wear that the rest of these guys have. That pit early on in this, or later on in this run. Ooh, Moore a little bit light through the corner out of the bus stop. Bishop just trying to put on a hard charge in the back end of the 45. These guys did close in a couple of seconds on the back end of Skizzato, who's just been babying the throttle a little bit. Not trying to run at breakneck speed, although she is rumbling through the corner going in through the carousel. But Moore and Bishop are closing in on that 9 machine. And with coming around to 5 laps to go, this is going to be one whale of a finish, even though it is still an exhibition race. We still have nothing but fantastic finishes here in the Fuel Racing League, and I think if this race stays green with 5 laps to go, this is going to be one heck of a finish right down to the wire here in the Thrustmaster 160K exhibition. The tail of the tape is going to be what the intervals between this 9 and 28 are, because Moore has been losing a little bit of time to RJ. The Trip has been able to keep a little bit steady of a gap. How much time did Moore gain in on Skizzato this last time by? Waiting for timing and scoring, and gaining a second, but same thing with Bishop. He sent that 28 car in through the corner. A couple of Mustang dark horses going after it. It's Valvoline versus Mobile One. The battle of the oils. I think Bishop is going to have a good shot at Trip going through this corner, in through the inner loop. Trip really good off the gas compared to RJ, but he's going to overcook the corner. Here comes Bishop. Not able to stuff that car length in there. Little off track goes Moore, and that'll be what RJ needs. He is clear of the 45. So the fight's on for first as RJ Bishop, who made an additional pit stop to top off on fuel, charging through the top end of this field, and he is trying to catch up to that 9 of Emi Schizzato. Bishop was 3 seconds back of the 9 machine that last time by. How much time is going to close in on that PNC Bank Camry? It's not within frame, coming back onto the oval just yet with 4.5 laps to go. And Tyler Stallhood is going to be in the way of these drivers. He will pull off to the inside out of harm's way. Bishop trying to get a little bit of a tow off the tail end of the 7 machine. A Stallhood will take that car down to the pit area once again. Now the fight is on for third back in here between Durbin and Conti. 85 and 86 machines side by side, 4 laps to go. Meanwhile, the gloves are off between Bishop and Schizzato. And excuse me, that's the battle for fourth back in here, as Trent Moore still within striking distance of that number 28 car. And he is glitching a little bit back and forth. But the gap that last time by on the back straightaway, under 2 seconds, so Bishop's certainly coming. A little bit of a lockup out of the inner loop there for the 45. Moore will lose about a car length of a disadvantage on the back end of the 28, and he is really wide going through that 8th corner of the racetrack. But can Bishop find the tire wear to catch up to the 9 machine? And it's one thing to catch up to these cars. It is certainly another thing to pass them. But right now, that is the gap between first and second, coming around to 3 laps to go here. Schizzato with the lead, Bishop in tow. And if a caution does come out now, we'll be at the point of no return. That will be the end of the race as Stallhood back out onto the track here. He will go 2 laps down. Rich Roy being scored 1 lap down. Brendan Whitford, the last car on the lead lap. Schizzato with 3 laps to go. We're at the point of no return, and she would love to hear yella, yella, yella on her radio. Bishop just trying to find a little bit extra grip there in those Goodyear Eagles. Last time by was just under 2 seconds. Now he is just over 2 seconds. I think that tire wear is certainly starting to come into play. As Schizzato again has got about 3 lap older tire, rather 4 lap fresher tires than RJ has, as Durbin and Conti continue to battle for 4th. It's going to take Schizzato making a mistake for Bishop to have a really good shot at this race win. He's cut in close that time around. The bus stop has been the strongest portion of the racetrack for RJ so far. This carousel section has been where Schizzato has shined so far tonight. Rolling through the corner once again. The gap right now just about holding steady at 2 seconds. Durbin went up the racetrack going through the corner, but he will hold on to 4th as it's now a 3-car battle for 4th. Rafaela Sorensen looking for a top 5 run here in the exhibition contest, but Schizzato, their sponsored teammate, trying to hold on in the 9-car, coming around to popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go here from Pensacola. Bishop back there in the 28. I think he's going to lose a lot of ground to the 9-car this time by. Sorensen trying to get around Conti. That time around, Bishop actually able to close in by a couple tenths of a second. But 2 laps to go, you need seconds. You do not need tenths. You need a lot more than tenths if you want to have a shot at this race win if you're RJ Bishop. And if you're Emi Schizzato, you are hoping and praying that everything stays bolted onto that 9-car. Trying to take that PNC Bank Supra to Gatorade Victory Lane. Running well through the corner, a little bit wide, sideways for Bishop. Lewis is fast, however, and that 28 car has been fast all race long, but Schizzato has led the most laps in this contest. Led 11 compared to Bishop's 9. She's running the race of her life right now and trying to get this race started, and now Bishop off course. He has gone around in the 28 car. I don't know what happened to Bishop. I was looking at the scoring monitor, and all of a sudden, Trip Moore now up to second, and RJ Bishop, one of the dominant cars of the afternoon, is out of contention. And we'll get a look at the replay. Yeah, and that was not a good scenario whatsoever for RJ. Going through the corner, just overdriving it, spinning that Mobil 1 car around. And that'll essentially take RJ Bishop out of contention for tonight's race. A tough, tough break for Bishop. But nonetheless, white flag is out. Final lap here at Pensacola for Emmy Schizzato. Has a 10-second lead over RJ Bishop. Even though he spun around, he is still fighting for second. Durbin a hard charging behind that 28 machine. It's a 4-car battle for that second spot on the podium. Schizzato right now just needs to run. You don't even need to run a Q lap. You need to run a practice lap, a pitter-patter lap, if you will. Bishop, who is right now driving on ice skates in that 28 machine, just trying to bring that Mobil 1 Ford home second. Schizzato with absolutely no pressure out back there in the 9. Through the hairpin for the final time. Bishop just trying to make up any lost ground that he can. Durbin just trying to bring that 86 car home in third. What can Conti do to potentially get a podium interview? But on to the oval for the final time in this race. It is Schizzato who has ran a near flawless race in the number 9 machine. Through turns 17 and 18 for the final time. Started this race in 12th. It's going to do the last to first challenges off of turn number 4. Emmy Schizzato for PNC Bank and Toyota will win the Thrustmaster 160K exhibition race. RJ Bishop will come home in second. Ike Durbin will round out the podium in third. Nikki Conti comes home in fourth. Rafaela Sorensen will round out the top 5. What a race that was. Emmy Schizzato getting the job done. Dominated the second half of this race. And again, it was that early strategy call for Bishop that kind of did him in. We knew right when it came down at lap number 12 that was going to be a little bit sketchy on fuel. Came down once again to take fuel. Just to top off on fuel. Schizzato burning it down in that PNC Bank car. A little bit of a love tap there from Rafaela Sorensen in the 42. Sorensen trying to bring that car back up and going, but a great feel-good win for Emmy Schizzato in the exhibition race here. And even though there's no points on the line, doesn't matter. Schizzato a winner here in the Fuel Grand National Series. You'll see the official results on the top end of your screen. Schizzato burning that number 9 car to the ground, utilizing that fresh rubber that she had over RJ Bishop. She's going to bring that 9 machine to a halt. Bishop will bring that 28 car back around, and Tyler Stallhood will commit Harry Curry there in the 7, as we're typically accustomed to for all these drivers. But what a race once again for the Fuel Racing League. And just an absolute banger of a show here once again. But nonetheless, Emmy Schizzato getting the job done here. Not sure why it showed RJ Bishop as the race leader. I believe Schizzato may have gotten DQ'd right at the end. Yeah, I'm not sure what is going on with the official standings. I believe it may just be a one-lap penalty there for Schizzato, but nonetheless, Schizzato able to get the job done, despite what the standings are. And we're going to get some clarification here in just one moment, because that was... It was weird how it was... I believe it was probably just a one-lap penalty for Schizzato for driving the wrong way. That'd be my guess. We'll get clarification here shortly, but nonetheless, we'll take you downstairs to Victory Lane, and we'll get an interview with quite a few drivers here in just a couple of moments, so stick around for our post-race round of interviews here after a phenomenal Thrustmaster 160K here at Pensacola. And we are back here for the final, or the set of post-race interviews here after a phenomenal race at the Pensacola International Speedway, Trey, right here on the North American Sim Racing Network. And we will start with our third place driver of the number 86 machine, Ike Durbin. Ike, you got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth?
Yes, I do.
Well, you certainly had an eventful race, got into the outside wall quite a few times, but nonetheless, how does it feel to be back in a stock car after about a month-long hiatus here from the Fuel Grand National Series? Got a couple of runs down pat in the Sportsman Series, but how does it feel to be back at the track here, at least at a Grand Nat or an exhibition side of things?
It feels pretty good, and it was a lot of fun. I'm not the most talented driver on road courses, but it was still a really fun race, and I could feel myself improving throughout. I think making it it being an exhibition made it a much more relaxing atmosphere and a good time.
It certainly did, and this is your second road course race in a row, going back to running at Cape Cod on the Sportsman Series back on Friday. This race, Pensacola, it is a roval like we have seen a lot in the real life tracks, such as the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I know Texas has got a roval, but how does running a roval with all the banking compare to a true road course like we saw at CCIR back Friday night?
It's definitely interesting because the oval part of the track makes that section so fast and draft dependent. It actually, for me, was pretty helpful because I could kind of catch back up to somebody that was maybe slightly better than me in the technical parts of the track. And it makes it very fun. It also makes turn one a little scary, but I feel like that's turn one on quite a few road courses. So yeah, it does have a bit of a different feel, especially on the oval portion, just because you're used to, you know, the close, tight turns, slower parts of the track, and then it just opens up to the massive oval section.
Yeah, it definitely does. We see that a lot, like we said, tracks like Charlotte, Daytona, so many fun tracks here in the States. But getting back into a Grand National car, you were able to get a win in the off-season at Augusta, which is kind of a roval, you'd say. But getting back on a Grand National car, what are your expectations for this season, especially coming off of a pretty good third-place run here tonight?
I would say my expectations are about what they were for last GNS season. My main goal is just to minimize minimize mistakes, and just finish where I should be running or better. I usually either finish better than I should, better than I run, like on kind of like today, or I finish much worse than I should, and I would really like to have a little more balance. If I can finish, you know, 4th or 5th in points like I did last GNS season, I think I'll be pretty happy.
You definitely will. And before we'll spring you loose, we'll give you the floor to shout out anybody that you like, anybody that you want to give thanks to. Floor is yours, man.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to everybody that makes Fuel such a great place to race. And Nikki, she's been a good friend of mine for a long time, and we had a pretty fun battle for a couple laps near the end. It's always fun racing her, but being able to race her so closely and cleanly like we did those last few laps was a lot of fun.
And it definitely was. We'll look forward to seeing you on the oval side of things this Friday night at Viva Las Vegas, in the heart of the Sin City at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Ike, congratulations, and we'll see you Friday night in Las Vegas.
Absolutely, thank you.
That was Ike Durbin, driver of the number 86 Millennium Autosport Mazda. We'll be seeing a lot of him, Rich Roy, and Vincenzo Focusato later on in the next upcoming weeks. Now we go to the second place driver the number 28 Mobil 1 Ford Mustang, RJ Bishop. RJ, got a copy of us in the broadcast booth?
Yeah, what up?
Well, you certainly had an eventful race here this evening, starting on the outside pole and leading the first 9 laps of the contest before the first half of this race really devolved in the chaos with a pair of back-to-back cautions. But what was the strategy going into the tail end of this race where you knew that you're going to be a little bit iffy on fuel? What made you want to decide to potentially come down to try to split this race in half? And then did you, if I can English properly, what made you want to try to split this race right down the middle, 12 and 12?
I was just winging it as I went, to be honest. When I pitted at halfway, I was hoping I could make it, and then realized I couldn't. So I pitted like 3 laps after, and then I just winged it from there.
Yeah, and you were able to get that extra gas and go, but that battle at the end with Emi Schizada, you guys were trying to go a little bit back and forth as you caught up to the back end of the 9 car, but was it really the tire wear that was really starting to wear out for you at the end? Because we saw that a little bit of a bobble there, right, on the with 2 laps to go that kind of took you out of contention. But was there kind of tire wear at the end?
The only time I took tires was that first yellow, and when I first initially pitted. So I was on like, wow, almost 11 lap old tires. So I was just trying to manage my tires and keep up at the same time.
And you definitely did a heck of a job right until the end, but you were still able to get second. And what are your expectations going into the 7th season of Fuel Grand National competition? You were here a little bit here and there sporadically through season number 6, but you brought along a couple of really sharp-looking cars, including this scheme that we'll see once again at Watkins Glen. What are your expectations going into season 7, right on the back third of the Fuel GN season?
I usually run good over here. But I actually don't know how well I'm gonna do, but that's depending on my work schedule on Wednesdays. So if I'm off, good, then I'll be showing up. So hopefully I can do good.
Yeah, we love to see you on a lot of Wednesdays, and we love to see you a lot on Fridays as well if you're able to on the sportsman side of things. Those races are a lot of fun. But we're going to give you the floor here real quick to shout out anybody, thank any sponsors that you got. The floor is yours, RJ.
I would like to thank Mobile One for being on the car because I couldn't think of anyone else to be on the car for road courses, so why not? Ford and Fortnite Squad Racing.
And you definitely put together one whale of a show here, just one position short of that position number 1 for the Mobile One Ford Mustang, but you still ran a heck of a race, and you'll certainly be a force to be reckoned with throughout the season. RJ, congratulations on a runner-up finish tonight. We'll hopefully see you next week in Darlington.
Thank you.
User was moved out of your channel.
That was RJ Bishop, driver of the number 28 Mobile One Ford Mustang Dark Horse. And now we'll go to the winner of tonight's race here in just a couple of moments. We'll fast forward a little bit to Skizzato burning it down, right along with Rafaela Sorensen as well.
User was moved to your
And now we'll bring in the winner of tonight's race, driver the number 9 PNC Bank Supra, Emmy Skizzato. Emmy, got a copy of us in the broadcast booth?
Loud and clear.
Well, you ran a whale of a race, but it didn't look like it was going to start out that way, with you running a 1:55 in qualifying, a 13-second slower lap than the pole time of Tyler Stallhood. What adjustments did you put during happy hour to put yourself in contention for this win here tonight?
Well, that qualifying lap, I made some mistakes. Turn 1, I ran wide, went to the rest, and then it was stop. I spun on the curb, just two rookie mistakes. But during happy hour, I think we tuned the tuning ratio to get the car a little more responsive, and we also messed a little with the gear ratio. So. Yeah, we made those changes, and the car handled a lot better.
Yeah, and it certainly handled like a dream for the back end of this race. But we're talking with Ike Durbin a little bit about how this track, which is, how Pensacola Roval with that big oval section, a lot of long straightaways, compares to a track like Cape Cod that we ran at Sportsman last Friday. What were your takeaways from this race and what are the differences that you were seeing between a true road course like CCIR and a Roval hybrid like Pensacola here tonight?
Well, CCIR was very technical. One main difference was, of course, the banking. But one thing I thought it wouldn't have, but it had, was the elevation change. Cape Cod had a lot of elevation changes, especially the final sector ESs. I thought it was gonna be flat. It's a Roval. You don't expect the infield to have any elevation changes. But I was happily surprised that it actually had some elevation changes, like coming after the bus stop, you go downhill, like double right-hander, and then you go uphill to a blind left-right sweepers. So that was really, really cool to see this, for the track to have.
It definitely was. And then right at the tail end of this race, right at the midway point, when RJ Bishop came down, you found yourself in second. What was the strategy mindset going to try to going into the second half of the race where you're leading a lot of laps? Were you planning to try to go the long run after pitting under that first caution?
No, not at all. I don't. I think pitting after the first caution, I was doing some math. Crew chief was doing some math. We would be restarting lap 4. The second caution was lap 6. We didn't pit after that, but I see some fuel. We did some math there, and we would run out by lap 16, 15, 16 maybe, around that time. And we just said, if we pit earlier, we're not gonna make it. And we just decided to stick to the strategy to just go down the road at lap 15. Gonna have lap 16, and then they're gonna have 9 laps around that, 8-9 laps to do on tires and on fuel. And surprisingly enough, the track wasn't the deck was lower, but the tire temperature reading from the telemetry was actually higher when we came out of the banking. So I thought that would a fun practice as well. That would probably kill probably destroy the right side tires. But surprisingly, we didn't have much wear. And out of the first pit stop, we had some little wear, but it was concentrating more on the left side tires than on the right side tires. So yeah, we just decided to stick with the plan, run the car dry, and pit for fuel, for tires, just so we wouldn't have to worry about tires nor fuel.
Well, the strategy certainly played out for you well, and you were able to get the job done here tonight in a pretty stacked field with a lot of guys like RJ Bishop and Tyler Stallhood starting right towards the front. Lucas Kennedy was in it as well until he unfortunately had a camshaft issue. But you were able to get the job done tonight, and what are your expectations for the Fuel Grand National Series Season 7 going into this 11-week competition next week starting at the Lady in Black in Darlington?
Well, I hope we're going to have a good season. That track is Darlington. I really love Darlington. It's probably my favorite oval. I just hope I can get the setup right. It's been a thing we've been trying to work on, at least on the ovals. I think we had over. I ran Iowa. I struggled a lot. With the setup that my crew came first was really lows. So then we've had a little tire setup mid race, and then made a little adjustment, so it was just perfectly loose, placed to my taste. And we ran well. Unfortunately, I had that incident on the final lap. I misjudged and came up, but I really hope I can have a good season. I think I'm still ready for rookie of the season. The rookie of the season. I really hope I can, just have fun, mostly, first and foremost, and learn how to do setups on the ovals. That's my goal for the season.
Well, you're certainly really good on the road courses. We saw it here tonight, and we'll give you the floor real quick to shout out anybody that you want. Thank any sponsors that you've got on board here. The floor is yours, Emmy.
Well, firstly, gotta just shout out to my girlfriend, Rafaela Sorensen. She's been with me for Thick and Fin. She's a really good partner. She races a lot. She raced today. She was really good. Unfortunately, I had some issues. We'll also thank PNC Bank and TRD for the car. And that's all for today, I think.
Well, it certainly was, and you ran one heck of a race here tonight. Congratulations, Emmy, for getting the job done here in the Thrustmaster 160K, and we'll see you back on the ovals here this Friday night, hopefully in Sin City, Las Vegas.
Well, sure do. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was Emmy Schizzato, driver.
User was moved out of your channel.
That was Emmy Schizzato, driver of the number 9 PNC Bank Toyota Supra, the winner of tonight's 24-lap race here at Pensacola International. And we are off and running for season number 7 of the Fuel Grand National Series. We'll get one more look here at the schedule before we'll close things up. Trying to get one look at the schedule. Just realized that I need to go to the live cam. Got the schedule up. Just trying to back it up here just a little bit as everybody will leave. But there is your season 7 schedule. Of course, all races are Wednesday evening, broadcasted live here on the North American Sim Racing Network. But starting off with the PPG Bank's Southern Classic next Wednesday night at the Lady in Black, the Darlington Raceway. That'll be one whale of a show there. And then we got Watkins Glen on September 3rd to open up September. Bristol on September 10th, Michigan on September 17th, Kansas on the 24th, Mid-Ohio on October 1st to ring in spooky season. That is going to be one whale of a show. Even though I've got some personal beef with Mid-Ohio, kind of had heat stroke or a heat exhaustion at the ARCA race there last year, but Mid-Ohio, ton of fun. Can't wait for that. Same thing with Las Vegas, and we've got sportsman action there this Friday night. Talladega movie car night on Wednesday, October 15th. Also meant to mention that the Bristol race is a shop local theme. And of course, Nicky Conti has got the sponsorship for that. So be sure to watch out for a lot of good looking race cars there at Bristol, both at Thunder Valley and at Talladega on the 15th for the movie car night. Then we go to Pikes Peak. Ike Durbin has got the sponsorship for that. Trek Talker had the sponsorship for Kansas as well. Just wanted to point that out. Then, of course, we've got the TBA race at for the Halloween theme, which I believe will likely be a short track. Brendan Whitford has got the sponsorship for that, so we'll have to see what track that we'll be going to there. And then, of course, the final race of the season, the Homestead Miami Speedway, on November 5th, our only race in the month of November here for the Fuel Grand National Series. And that will do it for 2025. And, of course, we will also be broadcasting the Fuel Awards evening, the Fuel Award show here on November 12th, all the way on Wednesday, November 12th. And, of course, we've got sportsman action back at here as well as Friday night. Live here on the North American Sim Racing Network, race number 4 of the season, the Max Buchanan 100K at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That will get kicked off as we'll send up the stream at about 9:50 Eastern Time here on the North American Sim Racing Network. Hope to have Caleb Rose on the call once again. We'll hopefully have somebody on the call so you don't have to hear my pearly voice. We'll be off and running for that, and it is certainly getting on the go here for season number 7 of the Fuel Grand National Series, kicking things off with the season opener, the exhibition here at Pensacola. But that is going to do it. We can get this. They're trying to get the stream deck going, but that is going to do it here from the Pensacola International Speedway. Congratulations once again to Emmy Schizzato for winning the Thrustmaster 160K. We will be back here this Friday night for the Max Buchanan 100K, Max Buchanan Foundation 100K in Sin City, Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Airtime 9:50 here on the North American Sim Racing Network, your exclusive home to the Fuel Racing League. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from Pensacola, Florida. On behalf of the Fuel Racing League and the entire North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening. We'll see you sportsman fans this Friday night in Sin City. For you Grand National fans, stay tuned as race number 1 for the Darlington Raceway, Wednesday night at 8:50 Eastern Time, here on the NASRN. Have a great evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you Friday night over in Las